but not least, I would like to welcome our innovation consultant, Tim, on stage. You might have seen him already at TEDx talk here in Berlin, or you know him from one of his lectures at Macromedia University. Today, Tim will tell us more about how AI might dictate our relationships in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Maren. Thanks, Maren, for the lovely introduction. Okay, wow, so I have an accelerated heartbeat. I have sweaty palms. And I don't know what to say. So it feels like a first date, actually, to me. And I'm here to talk about the future of relationships. Specifically about relationships in 2050 and so forth. So, we're all categorized by machines constantly. All the time, the moment you interact with your smartphone, with your cell phone, with your laptop, with your payback card, with any service that you can think of, you're simply generating data, and that data can be used for a lot. There are lots of purposes for that data. But what does that have to do with relationships? And why are we here? So let me take you to the year 2050. Meet the happy couple, Danny and Laura. They're both, so Danny is about 27, Laura has 23 years. They have been together for about 4 years, and they've been married for 1 year. Now, they've met online through a service, which I will come to later. But they met online through a service. So, quick show of hands, who here knows a couple who maybe has met on online dating, Tinder, so forth, maybe has met their own partner on online dating? Okay, so that's a few, thank you. Yeah, so it was like that, and there were a 93% match, which is pretty good. And they were like that, but the data that was used to, actually match them was a little bit more than, just what's your favorite pet and what's your favorite movie. So what data was collected? There was loads and loads of data that went into this dating profile. So there was data from your Spotify profile, data from your Netflix profile, data from your healthcare services, from your social media activity, from your bank accounts, from your dating history, from your genetic history, from your travel history, from your online shopping history. Everything was combined into one big package, creating an image of you. And that service was called Dater. Now, Dater was the everything dating app, and it was awesome. Now, the good thing about Dater was, in the beginning it was, very easy, very consented, so people, with the push of a button, could simply go and meet their soulmate. And that was the mission statement of Dater. We will find your soulmates within minutes. Live happily ever after with the push of a button. That did sound intriguing to a lot of people. Actually, it did sound intriguing to many people. And it came to the point where data had so much data that they were actually able to map out your entire relationship on a roadmap. So it could give you, in the end, in the beginning, basically, it were suggestions, but it was quite precisely calculated how and when to have kids, when to have a job change, when there was a relocation opportunity, when to get married, and even if you wanted, when to end the relationship again. Now, it started in the US as, many of these services and many of these apps, but it's quickly scattered all around the world until the point where about, almost 100% of all humanity was matched through data. Now, let's fast forward another 50 years. And in 2100, something really interesting happened, because maybe some of you have heard about the 5 monkeys experiment. I'm going to explain it really quickly. So there were 5 monkeys that were put into a cage, and there was a ladder and a banana on top. So the first monkey jumped up onto the banana, trying to grab it. Every monkey was sprayed with cold water. Now, the second monkey went up, and every monkey got sprayed with cold water again. Now, the third monkey went up, and all the other monkeys were detaining him, beating him up, because they didn't want to get sprayed with cold water. Now, one monkey was exchanged, and what happened was that the new monkey went up the ladder, and he got beaten up by all the other monkeys. He didn't know why, he just understood that those were the rules. And another monkey came in, and he obviously went up the ladder, going for the banana, and got beaten up even by the new monkey, who didn't know why he was beaten up in the first place. So what happened was that there were lots of, things that this AI had in common with this. And maybe some of you actually see where I'm going with this. Because at some point, people were just born into a world where this was the norm. They didn't know any better. They did not know that it was possible to meet people without your data being analyzed. Now, it might sound quite absurd, but the tradition of, being arranged marriage is actually centuries old and is still being practiced in many parts of the world. And there were several reasons to do that. So there was the distribution of wealth, there was status, there was religion, and so forth. Now, if you combine this with data, what you get was a variety of problems that humanity could tackle with this data. So it could solve problems like overpopulation. It could solve problems like habitat loss. It could solve problems like climate change, because it was able to match the entire humanity to its needs and to its resources. Now, what happened with the people who can't be matched? Maybe some of you have seen the movie Her, and it's about a guy dating an AI. Now, what happened was that the people who couldn't be matched were actually just matched with a computer which empathized with them, so they could live a happily ever life after life without, disturbing the rest. It's a little harsh. Still, that's what happened. Now, what roles do brands have in all this? And obviously, brands provide a lot of the data that were used for this. However, there's something, and there was a concept introduced that's called branded matching, which will simply give brands a lot more responsibility, as in, the moment you listen to a song on Spotify, it will actually decide your next partner. Or if you watch a series on Netflix, the algorithms line up, and so forth. Now, these brands all of a sudden had a lot of responsibility. But to conclude, where does that leave us? There are some final remarks I have, and first of all is that we already, all of us, are living in a recommended reality. What I'm trying to say with this is all of our realities are already influenced by a vast number of algorithms. Now, for now, these algorithms only give you, recommendations, what kind of music you want to listen to, what kind of series you should watch, who you should date, right? Now, in China, it's a little different. There's something called the Sesame Score, which combines, data from Alibaba, your purchase history, with governmental data, which will actually prohibit you from some actions you can take. For example, if you don't pay a parking ticket, you might not be allowed to buy a plane ticket. Now, there's a dating service called Bahi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. However, it is tied to the dating service, to the credit score that Alibaba will give you, or that the Sesame score will give you. Now, as Bahi puts it, good looks will get you so far, but it will not guarantee a comfortable life. Now, the moment you match with somebody, you will see their credit score and will see, oh, okay, this might be a potential partner for me. Now, we might think that we're so far away from this here in the Western world. However, there are some things that are, already practiced today. So, for example, when we came here, we rated our Uber driver. We rate online stores, we rate products. We already start to rate each other. I can recommend another human being to a friend on Tinder, actually. So there are lots of different mechanisms for this. Now, I think what I'm trying to say in the end is it starts here and it starts with us and it starts today. And this future is something that we can still decide on. And I think the final question to this is that something that you really want? Thank you very much.